friends. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Self-Sorcery Day. I hope it's a good day for you so far. I'm your host, Daniela. If this is your first time to the Salt Circle, welcome. The Salt Circle is an inclusive, non-judgmental, supportive environment where we gather to amplify our own healing journeys and assist in other people's healing journeys, especially when it encompasses themes like codependency recovery, grief work, you know, meeting our inner self, and things like that. So welcome. I'm glad to have you. Please ignore my pit stains. I don't know why I'm very sweaty all the time, but I'm always cold. But yeah, so welcome to another Monday. I really had a lot of ideas when I was at work today about things that I really wanted to talk and discuss with you about. So, really quickly, before I jump in, I just want to check chat to see if anyone. Okay, a couple of people are trickling in. Hi. Hi. Thank you for joining. But yeah. So, what I really wanted to talk about today, or there's three things actually that I really wanted to discuss, and I'm swiveling. One of those is, and that's kind of the main point of shadow work or going through this journey, which coincides a lot of time with healing journeys or grief journeys. I feel like, being in a position of suffering really can build character, or being in a position of complete traumatic, your world upheaval can also usher a time of where we're going to change some things about ourselves. We're going to meet ourselves and get to know ourselves on a different level as prompted by needing to adapt or needing to adjust to a new situation or environment. So with shadow work, so I keep swiveling. Gotta put my foot as an anchor. So with shadow work, and I don't know, I think this kind of really can work for anyone, no matter where on your introspective or healing journey you are at. But the main goal is to completely have ownership of all the parts of you that you keep hidden from the outside world, for all the things about you that you criticize and shame and demonize within yourself and you disown, you pretend don't exist. Um, think of it, when people are not straight, when people are on the, LGBTQIA plus, realm, to hide being who you really are because, religious persecution, societal expectations, whatever it is, and people going their whole lives concealing the fact of who they are attracted to or who they want to love, how that can really affect your entire life by not being able to be genuine. You know what I mean? So completely different situations, but that's kind of, how I help myself understand almost what it is to go through the transformative journey of allowing your inner self, one, to just exist, if you have gay thoughts, just to have them and not hate yourself, not beat your head in, not spiral into negative behaviors and negative thoughts and things like that. So just allow thoughts to happen. For example, I'm a woman, right? And my whole thing was like, I don't like kids. And I never wanted to say that, especially, single, because I figured, men want to have kids. So if I say that, I am limiting who others want me to be. So let's just not say that. Let's just tell them what they want to hear. And while hiding parts of myself can seem like I'm protecting myself, it might seem to myself like I'm acting in my own best interest to try to make the best opportunities available down the line, right? But when we double cross how we really feel. And when we don't honor what we really want to express, the reality of how we are on the inside, that true temperament, the real honest thoughts that we have, to just allow those thoughts to exist. And you don't have to say them out loud, you don't have to share them with anyone, but just to have the ability to let this secret inner stuff bubble up to the top, you know, and let the bubble come to the surface and pop. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to attend to it. You don't have to respond to it. You just let the bubble come up to the surface and then go away. It's just part of nature. It's just part of the ecosystem of your inner self. Um, and then when we are comfortable and we stop shaming and hating ourselves for having these thoughts, and these thoughts can just come to the surface without such an extreme negative reaction from our own self. That's when you can kind of just start thinking about, like, hey, where do these thoughts come from? Is it really that I hate kids? Do I really not want kids? Or is there something more to that? Where did this idea ever come from? Am I just repeating something that I heard my mom say? And this is, a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is something that I'm going to make sure comes true because I think it's supposed to come true. So when we allow our authentic inner self to just be met and to be allowed to be met, like we can meet ourselves, that allows us to really experiment with thought and allow our consciousness to subconsciously wander and follow where these bubbles, what is creating this air pocket down deep in the depths, what is causing this, this disturbance, right? And on the plateau, the placid surface of this, this self-reflection lake or whatever the fuck we want to call it. But right? So to allow ourselves to really be authentic, to just have the thoughts that come out and to not persecute ourselves. And then to allow ourselves to just think about these thoughts and absent-mindedly just follow where they lead to, not feeling a need to fix it, solve it, answer for it, get closure from it. We're just gonna allow things to just uncover, kind of like when the wind comes and rustles up all the leaves. Let the shit get moved however it's gonna get moved. We're just gonna walk on the trail, right? And it can really, I think, when we go through these levels of acknowledging our inner self and acknowledging the parts that we don't acknowledge or we don't let be expressed, it can really usher in this whole new dimension of empowerment and confidence and healing. Um, and part of when I was saying, with shadow work to allow these feelings or these facets of our inner self to come to the surface and to not feel the need to find the connecting thread and follow it all the way down to the core, the root problem, by just allowing things to just exist without getting such a negative reaction from us is going to be such a huge win. But to allow ourselves to just kind of explore our own selves and not feel the compulsion to fix, to cure, to explain, to get people on our side, to, whatever the frantic need is when we are triggered by these core issues or the strings that are attached or whatever the case is, right? So when meeting ourselves and then just authentically just letting our inner self be and our outer self go inward to meet that inner self and just let it just be. You just gotta just meet it like you're meeting a friend for coffee. You don't have to do anything, just sit together and just let each other exist near each other, right? There's a wholesomeness about interactions like that where you don't have to produce, you don't have to perform. And that's kind of what we're doing with our outer self and our inner self. A lot of times when I think about, kids or family stuff, I always want to explain and get people on my side because I've been demonized my whole life and always made out to be the villain to honestly as the scapegoat for my father's drug abuse. And my grandparents would just blame me, even though I was like, 8 years old, whatever. So a lot of times I see myself now in my current situations and relationships wanting to be like, oh yeah, well, I don't really know how I feel about kids, but this is why. And then it goes into this huge backstory, this catalog of misfortune, this fucking lore compendium. And it's like, oh my gosh, I feel such a need to over explain because I've always been so misunderstood. And I've always been willingly misunderstood by other people. So the second I turn that off and I just allow myself to just be like, I don't know how I feel about kids and not feel that compulsion to fix, to produce, to explain, we need to have that same reaction when we meet ourselves on the inside. Just, oh yeah, that's how you feel about it. All right, that's valid. And then take a sip of your coffee and you just sit together and be like, yeah, well, you know what? I see you. I see where that's coming from. No one else on the outside needs to see or know or hear anything right now, but I see. I see me. I see myself. I see my internal struggle. I see what it's led to and what it's created and how I'm perpetuating it. My mother would always say that if I ever decided to have a kid, it would be like the worst behaved child ever. It'd be like, she would always say, like, oh, when you have a kid, it's going to be worse than you are. And I was always like, well, bitch, I'm not going to have kids. Like that was like as a little kid, just that was the dynamic, right? And sorry, sometimes I get emotional thinking about that. So I'm just gonna skip that thought. And I know I never advise people to bottle up or ignore their feelings, but when it comes to Maria, honestly, it's just better. But sometimes, even with all this context and all this muchness, to just allow it to be like that that is something that am I pushing onto other people? Am I giving context to explain for her situation that I'm still trying to reconcile, like the things that she said to me, and I'm trying to believe them, internalize them. So I almost give a narrative to other people so they're on the same page. It doesn't, you just gotta let things be. And that's like my second point, really, like just accepting things and meeting them and just not trying to change it, just allowing it to be. And as you meet your inner self by yourself, you will become more confident in yourself, and there will be so much less desire to explain yourself to anyone because there will be no need for outside validation or gratification. You'll be able to give that to yourself. And in such a way, because you'll be giving it to yourself as it pertains to the parts of yourself that you've deemed unlovable. And I can't show this to anyone. I can't even have these thoughts. So like I used to have a little shadow board on my front door. So every time I'd like leave, I'd have to like read it. And one of them really and it helped me. And it just said like I cannot be in control. Like to have order is one thing, to be in control is another. So like you just have to accept things sometimes how they just are, not get mad, not get upset, and just be like, it's the same as the weather. It's the same as, if a tree falls, it's like, who are you going to get mad at? Just, you have to just allow things and adapt and do what you can despite what's happening. But you yourself need to be secure in yourself to be able to react that way when outward shit does happen, right? And it seems almost counterintuitive when talking about healing and talking about, doing shadow work, which is like hands on, mind on, really gutting yourself and kind of inspecting yourself a little bit. And it can be really exhausting afterwards. And so to look at that and those practices and exercises, and to be like, yeah, but you just gotta let it happen. You can't try. You just gotta be cool with it, man. It makes sense as you're confronted with things that, when, like, for example, I meet myself and I don't know anything about kids. I don't have kids, and it brings up all sorts of emotions in me. So instead of getting like really angry at my mom or really just angry at how shit went down over the last, like, 15 years or whatever, it's just like, you know what? Things are how they are. They're just what they are right now. And allowing things to just be accepted within yourself and within just what happened in the history, in your lore, and with things that will potentially happen, your situation right now. It's just to accept it and just decide, I will only experience this moment right now. And hear me out. Like, if you're going through like a really terrible relationship, like really, really bad stuff, or you're living at home and your parents are alcoholics and hoarders and they don't fucking care about you, or whatever the situation might be, you're at a really crappy community college halfway across the country and you just want to drop out, right? Whatever the situation is, you are never going to be in this precise moment that you're in right now. Hating it, freaking out about it, spiraling inward, and beating yourself up is not going to change that you are in this moment right now. So while you're in it, you need to just embrace it. Just be in the moment. Just like your darker self is just, it is part of your outer lit self. It's there, and you just need to be here. And by embracing things and just accepting things and just letting things go while still acknowledging to yourself, again, we don't need this from the outside world just yet. Like, you could, as you heal and as you're becoming more comfortable to confide in people, absolutely do whatever's best for you. But to really just see the moment for how it is right now and how you can handle it. How can I suffer in a way that will bring me closer to what I want? Because I don't want to suffer for no reason. I don't want to put myself in situations of uncomfortableness for no fucking reason, just because growing up in dysfunction, now I seek it out because it's all as familiar. Well, okay, we catch that, totally valid, but we gotta let things be as they are. We grew up in dysfunction. We're in dysfunction now. We can still change that, but we can do that better when we're calm and we know ourselves, right? And like, I know, like, too, sometimes the situation is like you can't escape. You need to wait. You have to save up money. You need to form a plan. Sometimes it really isn't that easy just to fucking start over, cut ties, blah blah blah. But you'll still be able to, you can do anything. You really can. And your entire life, you are the conductor of it. You are the author of it. And so while you're in certain situations, you can really write the script for you to just be like, hey, I'm just going to take this as it is. And this fucking sucks ass. This is terrible. And I can't do anything about it right now. But I will do what I can about it, which is not hate myself. Let me drink some fucking water and take a shower and wake up tomorrow and just be in the moment. You know, right now I'm in this moment and I feel like shit. I'm gonna drink water, have a little snack, wash my face, and enjoy it while I'm doing it. Really feel those suds on my face, really put myself in my body as much as I want to fuck off, dissociate, do drugs, go drinking, spiral into horrifying depression, quit my job, whatever. You gotta let shit like that go. You gotta just embrace and accept things and just be in the moment. Like, hey, I'm really gonna taste this fucking water right now. I'm really just gonna wash my face and appreciate that I have a face. It's a face right here, right? I don't have to go to the hospital and get a face. Some people gotta do that shit. And here's a really fun practice. You could just do it for like a week, or you can make it a challenge and try to do it longer. So you get like a notebook, right? I don't know what this is. You get a notebook. And on one side of the page, every night or every morning, Just write everything you're grateful for. I have a face. I have a cup I could use to drink water. I have water to drink. And it could seem like this dumbest shit ever, but when you just start introducing little glimpses and glimmers of not suckiness, it'll make an impact. So you write all the, the things that you're happy for, like, hey, yeah, I'm pretty healthy. I don't have to take medication, Yeah, my job sucks, but at least I'm making money and I can just, get drunk on my lunch break or whatever. Right? And then on the next side of the page, like, so you're writing on this side, and then the same page as the other side, you write everything that you want. I want a raise. I want $1 million fucking dollars. I want, to be able to fit 13 dildos in my ass. I don't give a shit. It's your life, right? Your life. You write the things you want, and you just do that every day, and you can see, we're accepting what's going on, but we're not just going to be stagnant in it. We're not going to hate ourselves for being in it. We're going to authentically look at ourselves and be like, what do I want? Where do I want to be? I can get there. I just need to drink some fucking water and take a chill pill, maybe go on a little walk and do things I need to get me there. And it'll be really easy to get to that mind frame when you meet yourself. And when you do feel like you're in a shitty situation and you're upset, you're just like, hey, yeah, let's talk about it. Come out. Let's have the outside and the inside self together to go through this shitty situation. Like we don't have to pretend it's not shitty, pretend we don't want to cry, hide our feelings. No, why? And a lot of times, and this is my third point. So a lot of times people will be like, "Oh, you're little Miss Doom and Gloom. Oh, you're always pessimistic. Oh, you're no fun to be around." I get that. Or, people will say things like, you're paranoid or, you're ungrateful. I don't know, right? And hear me out. And I'll use myself for an example. So I was always told that, I'm a terribly negative person and I don't like to smile and I'm a loner and I'm antisocial and, definitely that there has to be something wrong with me. You got to put her in like special ed because she doesn't look at anyone and she doesn't talk and she's weird, la, 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 right? And I got to a point, yeah, I got to a point where I was just like, instead of feeling horrible about all the things that people are saying about me, that I'm not fun to be at parties, that I'm not friendly, that I'm expecting the worst of people, you know what? Bitch, I will own that. Absolutely. You know what? I will be the most paranoid, unfriendliest, unreasonable motherfucker you've ever met if it means you will leave me the fuck alone and I can authentically then react to the bullshit that you are putting towards me. Like, I am at the party. Don't hang out with me then. Like, you're not going to make me feel bad because you know what? I'm not going to feel bad about these aspects of myself. Very true aspects. Yeah, I'm not friendly. I don't talk to people when I'm out, Like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't. I don't think anyone has anything interesting or of value to say to me. So if I'm like out at a bar, I'm not there to socialize. I'm there to drink and doodle and just decompress, right? And to go to a bar and feel like I have to make other people comfortable and not seem like I'm a fucking weird. No, no, who cares? Go to the bar with your notebook, post up, and chill the fuck out and do you. Who cares? To again produce and create like it's a production. Like you have to edit and choreograph every movement, every interaction people witness of you. No, if people think that, I am always thinking the worst of people, well, you know what? Fine. Don't invite me out anymore. I do think the worst of people because I've seen the worst of people, and I'm not going to disown or disobey my intuition because other people want to invalidate my own expression, not even opinions, just my own inner how I want to interact with the world, people are telling me is wrong. Absolutely not. I was told once. by this very, very toxic man who was breadcrumbing me. He was so narcissistic. He would, oh my gosh. He told me, he was just like, Daniela. Oh, I thought my cat was pissing. He's not, he's just looking at himself. He's like, Daniela, you be reasonable, because I was reacting to his shit, and I was being unreasonable. I was like, absolutely not. Either you come drive across Colorado, come see me right now, it's Christmas Day, or don't ever talk to me again. And he's like, oh, be reasonable. And I'm like, ah, no, I don't care. I'm never being reasonable again. Why should I be reasonable? I feel like I'm perfectly reasonable 90% of the time. For the past 30 years, I've been way too reasonable. So you're gonna call me unreasonable for calling you out on your own ish? I will be as unreasonable as possible then. I will own my darkness. I will completely feel empowered by my dark side or my evil side, if that's how it's going to be painted. I think those aspects of ourselves should really be celebrated. Like, I have a horrifying temper. Horrifying, let me just say. And for years, I would just try to force myself to react with sadness to anything instead of anger. And anger is always my first reaction. And while I thought, this will get me the reactions that I want, instead of me screaming at someone, if I just cry at them, they'll probably do what I want. You know what I mean? Um, and it's also, I thought like, oh, this is how I'm working on my temper issues. But I realized, it took me years to get out of that habit that I forced myself in, because when I did need to get angry or wanted to get angry, I just couldn't. I would just start breaking down and not be able to, articulate. So I fucked myself over, and I made sure that, a lot of situations I got took advantage of because I could not find my voice. And that's another really good example of how disowning your inner self, not being true to all the parts of yourself and hiding things that you wish you didn't have, like my anger, is really, really counterproductive to your healing journey and to your self empowerment journey, or whatever fucking journey you're on. I like just to call it shadow work, because you're working on the back stuff, the back rooms of the mind and the soul. You're in there, you're doing the janitorial labor, you're plunging those fucking toilets and shit, making sure the light bulbs are working. Like, you're doing that maintenance in the ruins and the catacombs and the fucking dingy little office building that's never been leased out because of whatever. You know what I mean? Before I get fucking distracted. But yeah, so I really do think it's important, like, oh, let's just do like a little recap to allow yourself to just be authentic and to meet yourself authentically. Your inner self is authentic and is like, hey, I'm feral and I want to kill someone. It's like, hey, I get you, bestie. Outward me is going to say, let's not do that. But how about I listen to why I'm feeling this way? And I do it without hating myself. That authenticness, the genuineness, the ability to honor yourself, you're really going to reach another level of confidence, and you will feel better. You really will. You'll feel safer for yourself. And trust me, as someone who has fucked off all over across the country, driven in the middle of the night to different fucking ends of time zones and shit, you need to make yourself a safe place. No matter what you do, where you go, your problems are, some problems are geographic, I'll give you that. Not all of them are. You know, some of those problems will follow you because you will seek them out, or they get attracted to you, or you find comfort in the familiarity. The abyss calls to you, whatever, right? You need to make yourself comfortable and safe and loved before you're able to really get that elsewhere, you know? And by accepting yourself and seeing yourself for who you really are and the parts of yourself that you pretend aren't there, by calmly cultivating that stillness, that insideness, and just seeing things for how they are and not reacting, not feeling the need to fix or over explain or ruminate or anything. Just, yeah, wow, we went through that. That's why, whew, yeah, that's why I feel that way. Makes sense. Thanks for telling me. Go eat some cake batter, I don't know. Whatever you do, right? And then with accepting yourself and seeing yourself, really just embracing your dark side. And honestly, you don't even have a dark side. We're just calling it that because that's what people, and probably toxic, shitty people, right? If that's what people are gonna say is dark or is, your bad nature, then fuck it, embrace it. I can't, oh my gosh. One time I was on a date with this guy and we were at like a state fair and we were leaving the state fair and like we got into an argument. And I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm just gonna go to my car and go home. Like, I can't. And he followed me to my car and was like screaming at me. And he was like, "You're just being such a bitch." And I'll never forget because there was a cop like working the crosswalk thing, like telling people to go and stuff. And he looks at me and I was just like, I'll catch a charge. Like, I was so ready to just like devolve into like a goddamn chimp. Like, I was, oh my God. And I was like, you want to see a bitch? And I left him there because he didn't have a car. I drove us. So it's like, yeah, you think I'm a bitch? Okay. All right, we'll be a bitch then. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to defend or explain anything because I know I've met myself. I'm not a bitch. Sometimes, yeah, cunt I'll go for, but I'm not just a bitch for no reason, needlessly. You want to see that though? I know. Kitty agrees. You have Kitty's permission. Are you gonna jump on me? He's such a sweet cat. But yeah, that's what I really wanted to share with you on this. What is it? 12th episode? 11th episode? I think it's the 12th. Kitty says 12th episode of our self-sorcery channel series. I don't know. This is still all new to me, but 12 episodes means we've been doing this for about 12 weeks. So, congratulations. 12 weeks. If you've been here since the start of it, 12 weeks of shadow work is pretty fucking impressive, if you ask me. Even though it's just a half hour or an hour a week, that's still a half hour or an hour you didn't have yesterday or before. So, I'm really proud of you for, just showing up, even if you're not commenting or you don't want to subscribe, doesn't matter. Just showing up is doing some good, like on some inner vibrations. I really feel that and I mean that for you just because I think anyone can benefit from shadow work and can, heal or go on to an introspective journey. So I'm going to take a minute and see what people have said. You guys are all right. I identify as a narcissist. Well, that's nice that you admit that. Um, we'll unpack that another day. We could always have an episode about narcissists. I have a very narcissistic mother, as I'm sure a lot of people do. It'd be fun to unpack, right? Ah, I just got exhausted even thinking about my mother, Maria. Jesus Christ. She texted me today. I won't even go into it. But I really do hope that this episode was insightful or interesting or helpful, especially when it comes to you on your journey for shadow work. Um, if you've been here with us on our other episodes, you know the candle situation at the start and at the end of the streams is really just to I don't know what Kitty's doing, but it's really just to put ourselves back in our body, just to really, again, ground ourselves and not just dissociate, not want to experience. Like, we want to be in our body and we want to feel what we're feeling. And we want to see how inward us also feels and allow those feelings to come to the surface and be heard. Bless you. Kitty sneeze. But I really do mean that, especially about the dark nature, the accepting of who you are exactly for who you are. And if these qualities about your inner self are the Antichrist, it's the Ragnarok incarnate, then you know what? Something had to take out the human race. Just be yourself, you know? Mm. I always need to reground myself because I always feel like my heart rate gets spiked and I get sweaty when I think of shadow work and just the things that I want to work on and hoping that I convey my thoughts and ideas in a concise and coherent manner, but that's probably not the case. Either way, I am gonna do the candle ritual. It's not even a ritual. We're just chilling with some candles. We're blowing them out, listening to music to chill the fuck out. Because I have no chill ever. So I hope you do the same. I need to get more candles. If you guys get any deals anywhere, you find out about them, let me know. Because I need to get at least 20 candles. I like candles a lot, and I have a lot of dogs and they fart all the time. But anyway, I really did enjoy today's episode. It was a little bit shorter than our usual blab fests, but again, I really hope you enjoyed it. You know, don't forget to subscribe and comment. I really, enjoy when people share their experiences or their stories or, just what they think of what I said. Or if you have ideas for next streams, definitely let me know. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna turn on the music and really focus on breathing and filling my lungs up, the bottom of my lungs, and getting my rib cage to expand, the shoulders back, my hips square, my feet heels down on the ground. Just really feel your body where it is. And with candles, with fire, they need air. You need to breathe. You are holding in your breath because you are a tense bitch and I love you, but you need to breathe. Oh my goodness. Okay, my friends. So until next time, I hope you have a good one. I hope you do more good stuff on your healing journey. We will meet again on Wednesday where we discuss death, dying, and bereavement. I know, Keaton. I know you being. All right. See you, my friends.